Hi, my name's Jody Roebuck and we're at Roebuck Farm. We're just south of New Plymouth by 10 kilometres. Our total property size is 7 acres and we graze sheep on the outer areas, and we run about a half-acre intensive market garden. We specialise in crops that grow fast. So we're in a valley. We're north facing. We're 20 metres above the river, and the ridge up the top with the water tank is another 20 metres up. So we've got full sun. We're protected by the westerly trade winds, but we really get caught by the easterly that comes back this way. So the starting point, there was nothing here when we bought the property. Major compaction, no organic matter, and we set out. This is our first field block we developed with the garden beds, and we set out. We've developed a large fork, we'll show you that soon, and we opened the soil up with the fork without doing any tillage or flipping of the soil strata, and we began a lot of composting. And we did everything on farm for the first 10 years. We never brought anything in, and we made all our own compost, and we did a lot of bed prep to create a deep living soil like a sponge cake. And we've now 17 years later, I guess, that's how old these garden beds are. We've increased our carbon content in the soil through compost down to 300 mils deep. These beds are actually 600 mil deep. And moving forward, recently we had a company here called Integrity Soils, and they measured our infiltration, which is the rate that the water soaks in, and they recorded their highest recording they've ever recorded. Their international company, higher than Gabe Brown, the world's most regenerative rancher. So the infiltration test is basically you cut a plastic pipe, you push it into the ground, and then you measure how much water you're pouring in and time it and see how long it takes to soak in rather than running away. So we are really big on initially opening the soil up. We're very aware of how we do that without doing any disturbance, and the ongoing work. So there's no flipping of the soil or mixing the layers upside down. One of the challenges with large-scale conventional ag historically is the constant tillage on top. In the tillage, they're spinning the soil, they're breaking apart, simplifying the soil. So we're actually wanting to build diversity. You know, we have a lot of worms, a lot of insect life in our soils, plus we plant intensively, and we're continuously covering the soil with crops. We specialise in fast crops. So we started on a really hard-packed, solid, compact ground. It's pretty, and by opening up the soil, we've now developed a super soft soil that allows water infiltration. So that's how deep our soils are, which means the roots can grow down, we can grow more plants in an area, we can cover our soil at all times with ideally crops, and also so it allows for intensive production. And this is our ongoing bed prep. We've developed this fork which we made in South Taranaki, and we're using it on a very low angle, and all we're doing is aerating the soil. So there's no tillage, no moving around of the soil stratas. We're just giving it a lift before the next crop goes in, really to allow, makes all the jobs easier, but really to allow for the roots to be able to go down and along with the moisture and the infiltration and retention. And it makes for jobs like transplanting. And if I show you, the soil we started with used to be red. It's getting darker and darker the more compost we apply. But you can see this is what our topsoil used to be like, and you can see the dark on the top, which is pretty much carbon. The fork is got deeper tines, and the width of it is half the width of our standard garden beds. So we go down one side and back up the other. So it's very ergonomic. There is no lifting. When people associate digging, they might think spades and hard work. Yeah, it's ergonomic. It's strong, and it's been one of our favourite tools. So we don't have any tractors to run the farm. This is the scale of the tools we're at. We're going to show you a couple more tools soon. But all our tools are standardised. They're pretty much the same width as the fork. Tools that we use for direct seeding, for surface bed prep. So we've standardised the garden size, which is typically 75 centimetres wide. These beds are wider. We've had these ones for a longer time. And yeah, just everything fits. So a lot of the modern tools that are only been around for 20 years that make a small-scale market gardening efficient were developed by Elliot Coleman. He's the godfather of market gardening in Maine. This is called a tilther, and it's just a tiny plough. It's basically a tiny tractor, and it's run by a battery drill. And this garden bed here has been forked, and now we've put new compost on top. We want to mix the compost in with the surface soil and make it fluffy just at the surface for the germination of the seeds we're about to plant. So the rope up the handlebars, when I pull the rope, it accelerates the drill, which spins these little teeth around. So it's just doing the top 4 centimetres. So I'll run you through this. So the tilther, although it's super efficient, the soil does settle at just underneath. It's called a hard pan, and it's not that compact in our scenario, but it's a baby plough, and so the rake is the last stage on the bed to just make the bed even, give it lift, and take out any debris. And we're basically, every time we prep a bed, we're creating a seed bed, which means we're going to direct seed the seeds into the garden with a precision seeder, and it's going to give us a nice, fast, even germination like a carrots, and you can see the coriander. So this is a direct seeder. It's for planting seeds, and it's just a baby version of what a large tractor would tow, and it's basically going to move forwards. The back wheel drives the pulley, and you'll see inside, I'm going to spin that around, there's 6 different boxes we can put seed in. For salad, we do every box, or you can put seed in every second box for something like coriander. We can plant a lot of crops with this, and as we walk down the bed, the furrows at the front open the soil, and the seed drops in, and then the back roller covers the seed over. So we measure our seed before and after, so we know exactly how much we're planting. We're going to put 90 grams over 9 square meters here. Very difficult to do that by hand. Gives us a very even germination. And the one thing, here's my question to everybody, what's the one thing you don't have on the farm? And we get heaps of cool answers about this one, like obviously it's tractor, but the one thing you don't have on the farm is time. So it's the efficiencies that we're able to to improve on with small tools like this. This is called a 6-row seeder. So I'm going to put seed in the hoppers, and then we're going to run over this bed and plant it. So we're going to plant 6 rows each pass, and this is an extra wide bed, so we're going to do 4 passes, then we're going to weigh the seed to see how much we've planted. This is a ton of work to get established, and the public enemy number one is bare soil. So to protect all this investment we've made in our soil and the improvements, after direct seeding, like we saw in the last bed, we hand water because to get really good germination, and we cover with these green nets which are 70% shade. And what these do is they stop heavy rain from really impacting your bare soil, and if we have a really hot spell, they also stop the surface soil from drying out and the seeds that are just putting their heads up from drying out as well. As we know from experience, one hot afternoon, if you're misirrigating a tiny seed that's maybe 4 days old, they dry out, and that's it over, they perish. So let's have a look under here. We don't have germination yet, we just seeded yesterday. And this was with a single row seeder with carrots. And this is keeping them, today it's dry, warm. This is stopping the surface from drying out. It's stopping the birds from taking your seeds. A lot of people have challenges with that. And also if we had torrential rain, it's stopping the impact. And so we call this our mobile mulch. They keep the temperature more even, and they're a great promoter of germination. So we'll show you, once they germinate, what the next stage is. So after the crops that we direct seed have germinated, we take the 70% shade net off, which has protected it, during its at that young age. And then with a lot of our crops, like the baby salad, especially in winter with heavy rains, or the baby brassicas, which brassica is a family of vegetables. So we do baby kale, baby rocket, baby mizuna, even radishes. These crops are all low, but they have a lot of insect pressure on them. And so we put hoops and an insect net over the baby brassica leaf. So this is baby mizuna, that we just sowed that before. This is what it'll look like 5-6 days later. After the green shade net comes off, we put the insect net on, and they're very easy to manage. And not only are these insect nets great for insect pressure, they stop heavy rain impacting these babies, and they also stop the really strong dry winds like the southeasters that we have. So in winter we might have a third of the farm on with these covers on. These hoops are from Redpath, and it's the wire that clicks in. There's a little hole down there. The wire clicks in and holds the nets on. You can put plastic, bird netting, frost cloth. We solely just use bug net on here now, which you can get from farmlands. And this is our insurance. When we have a major weather bomb, it's the fabrics that are protecting our soil and also protecting our crops as well. Because a lot of the time we wouldn't have crops survive the weather events that we have. Under this net, we have a different crop, which is radishes. Got a couple of other direct sun things in there. These are not quite ready, but again, you can see the leaves are beautiful. They haven't had insect pressure on them. So all our direct seeded crops, everything, get the same process where we are doing the bed prep. Every time we have it, we're composting beds as much as we can, and then ideally we're direct seeding, followed by covering with the green net and the insect net. It helps with quality, and we're trying to keep the insect pressure at bay. The other way of planting is transplanting. We'll show you that. And this is a Japanese design. It's called paper pot. It's about 45 years old, the design, and it was invented for transplanting spring onions. But the modern market garden movement have realised we can plant anything with it. And so we're using it for lettuce in summer, but especially for beetroot, which we're hoping we can do year round. And each tray has a honeycomb of paper. We seed into it, and there's 264 cells. And we're also now experimenting with what plant density we want. We're putting 3 to 4 seeds in each cell to increase the amount of beetroot we can plant in one area. And so the good thing about transplanting is these beetroots are 30 days old already. And here's our next succession of beets over the other side. By transplanting them, they're already 30 days old, which means they only need 45 days in the garden bed to grow, which means there's 365 days in a year. Just on this one crop, we just gained 30 days because they were in the propagation greenhouse prior. So we've got 1,500 beetroot seeds getting planted into 2 beds in a matter of minutes. Next thing we need to do is water these in. We've used lots of different styles of irrigation. This one is Japanese and it's called Sumi Soaker. I'll click it in and you can see it, and then I'll explain a bit more about it. So it's designed for sports fields. And you'll see when the line fills up, we've got tiny lasered holes in the top of it, and we're in the high range of low pressure here, so we have 19 meters of head with a 50 mil water line that comes down. So this is gravity fed, and it can spray up to 5 meters each way. So it can cover a 10 meter strip, and the length can be unlimited. We just got a little clamp we put on the end, and it puts on, so it's fast, even, and it puts on 9 millimeters an hour. So if we turn it off in 20 minutes, we've had 3 mils. We have 4 greenhouses on the farm of different sizes, and they each have a different role. This greenhouse is solely for propagation. And so we plant our tomato seeds in here, we pot them up, then we grow them in other greenhouses before transplanting into the big greenhouse. So we do our propagation here, but this is solely the microgreens house, and we'll show you the few small tools that we use in here and the microgreen production, which is our fastest crops we grow. So this is the microgreens house. These are the trays we use for the paper pot, but they're perfect for microgreens. They're robust. And they have a little edge under here, so when they click into each other and they create contact between the trays, which is what makes the microgreens germinate super fast and even. We'll show you how strong they are. We've pre-filled these trays. This is a drop seeder. We're going to put our seed on top. We use this to plant the micros. You'll see all of the seed sits into the holes. And as I push the top plate across, these seeds are going to fall out of the hole below. So we're going to plant 2 trays. We're going to drop the seed on there twice. Then I'm going to press the seed in so that they've got contact. And at the moment we're early autumn. They're still growing super fast. They're 6 days from planting to harvest. And we're going to now water them. And once they're watered, we're going to stack them on top of each other. And so this is called forced germination. And it's the weight of one tray on top of another that makes the seeds germinate super fast and even. So I'll run them down closer to you so you can see, but we're going to put this tray on top. And then we're going to put a concrete weight, this is 18 kilograms, on top to make them germinate. So here is what, after seeding, what we'll see next. You can see the microgreens are pushing that brick up and the trays are popping apart. And let's have a look under here. And so they've all popped. This is a red radish. And then under there, we're just a little bit early on uncovering this one. You can see they haven't all germinated even. The trays under here, I'll bring one over. These were all unstacked this morning. And that's pretty much what they look like. And I could tell you when they were planted. They're about, well, they planted about 3 days ago. So a third of their life they're covered up, forcing. And on the trolley here we have some big stacks that have just been seeded this morning. So once these germinate, they spend 1/3 of their life germinating. Then they go down to the bottom shelf, like the trays have just shown. The next third of their life they're down the bottom and they stretch. And then the last third of their life they come up to the top.
Okay, JD, time to bury some undies. You reckon this is a good spot?
Yep, I do.
Okay, as you all know, we put the end of the undies over the tip of the spade, and we're wanting to get it down there as flat as we can, with just the top peeping out. That was nice and easy. And a flag so we don't forget where they are. That was easy too. And some soil. And we're going to do this 4 times in 4 different areas, just like we did at your schools. We'll leave the worm behind. We'll pop a label on. Flower garden.